Just getting back from a run. It's actually freezing cold outside tonight. The summer's already coming to an end here in Ottawa, Canada. But a couple nights ago, I watched this movie, Grunt The Wrestling Movie. Let's see here. Can you see it? Man, this is hard. This is very hard. And it is rated a 26 on the vomit scale. And it features The Mask, Mad Dog, Joe DiCurso, Dick Murdoch, Adrian Street, the American Starship Eagle, a.k.a. Danny Spivey, and Wally George, among other stars. And many of you may never have heard of this movie. It came out in 1985 by New World Pictures, which also put out I Like to Hurt People, another famous wrestling movie that I will review sometime. Children of the Corn, Howard Stern's Private Parts, The Lost Boys, Tales from the Crypt, The Slumber Party Massacre, another one I love, as well as Tough Turf as Piper. Come here. Piper's walking around down here. She's telling me to get to bed, but I really want to do this. I personally love this movie. Some people might not like it, but if you are a fan of 1980s wrestling, you'll probably love it because it has a very 1980s feel to it. It is a fake documentary about Mad Dog Joe DiCurso, who was a wrestler that decapitated another wrestler in a match and disappeared for 6 years. And meanwhile, a new wrestler, The Mask, has appeared on the scene. And because he wears a mask and he's beating everyone, a lot of people think it's Mad Dog Joe DiCurso. So the whole basis of this movie is it's a fake documentary being made by these fans that want to get to the bottom of, is Mad Dog Joe DiCurso the Mask? So there's a lot of wrestling stars in this. I already named a couple of them. John Tolos is also in it. Dick Murdoch and Dick Beyer without a mask on is in this. If you want to see what Dick Beyer, the famous masked wrestler, looks like without a mask, he is in this movie. So it was pretty cool to see that. The guy that plays Mad Dog Joe DiCurso was a wrestler, but he was also in Over the Top. He had an arm wrestling scene with Sylvester Stallone in Over the Top. And he also was in Lionheart with Jean-Claude Van Damme, my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's the guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme fights in a racquetball court. And The Mask isn't actually Mad Dog. I'll give you the spoiler. It is actually Steve Strong, also known as Steve Capello, who is a good friend with superstar Billy Graham. And I'm going to try and get an interview with him soon. Rewatching this movie, which I've seen about 30 times, reminded me that I haven't done an interview with him. And the guy that plays Joe DiCurso, his wrestling name was Magic Schwartz, and he was a pretty seasoned actor. Apparently on Tales from the Dark Side, season 4, also by New World Cinemas, episode 20, Under a Mask, Steve Strong again wrestles Magic Schwartz, who is a demon. So these two wrestle each other in another New World film. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of a kid's movie, but at one point, The Mask has a female manager, and she's quite hot, I must say. And speaking of black poodles, The Mask also has a black poodle when the French girl is managing him. And she put a mask on the black poodle, so that's pretty cool. Maybe Piper should get a mask and be the poodle from the movie for Halloween. But basically, the movie follows the Mask as he beats a bunch of wrestlers, such as 2-on-1s. He fights a gang of midgets. One of the midgets is Tiger Jackson, who I've interviewed, who played Dink. And it's 4 midgets playing the pyramid. But he beats a bunch of contenders. Then there's a big battle royal. And at the end of the battle royal, Mad Dog returns and wins the battle royal and then unmasks the Mask. And we all see who the Mask is. So this will not be for everybody. If you're not in your 30s or 40s, you're probably not going to like it. One other funny thing is Adrian Street is in here, and he has like a Piper's Pit type segment, and it's called Exotic Adrian Street. As the Centennial says, the 80s were the greatest decade of all time. Okay, I got to agree with you on that. Richard has never seen it. Hello, Piper. But yes, the adorable Adrian Street segment, aka Exotic Adrian Street, that is pretty good. A fight breaks out. But this Wally George guy, I didn't know he was actually like a famous talk show host in California back in the 80s, similar to the other talk show host that was in WrestleMania 5. I don't know why his name, Morton Downey Jr. Anyways, I thought he was just a character based on Morton Downey Jr., but they had an actual famous talk show host in the time in it as well. I'm trying to get to the bottom of who is the Mask. So the documentary people get their answer at the end. They find out that Joe is someone else. One cool thing is they keep kayfabe in this whole documentary, which I love, and they go around to various wrestling schools when they're trying to research who the Mask could be. And it amazes me that there was like three or so wrestling schools just in one town, as if like wrestling schools are like MMA schools now, like as if there'd be multiple wrestling schools in a town. But it just reminded me of how much better wrestling was back then and how much more fun it was back then and how much greater the characters are. The comedy in it is really bad. I don't know why they did such bad comedy. That's the worst part about the movie. That's why Danny Spivey didn't like it. He didn't like the movie even though he was in it. Adrian Street's music is in this movie a lot. And there's also a song called Wrestling Tonight in this movie that I really like that opens the movie. But Adrian Street, you guys will find me crazy, but I actually love his singing, particularly his Broken Bones song. And I would actually listen to his song about breaking bones before I would do grappling tournaments sometime, and it motivated me to fight. As stupid and cheesy as it sounds, that's the type of person I am. It's still real to me, says Wally George is the father of actress Rebecca De Moray. Don't know who she is, but thank you for that tidbit of information. Aries says, is that a robe? Yes, because I'll be honest with you, I don't even have any pants on. I took off my sweaty. I had to actually wear a sweater today. It's that cold out. 9 degrees Celsius, which is brutal. Just a couple of nights ago, it was like much, much warmer. But I don't like this. I actually bought a new Jeep today because I'm dreading winter so much, and I wanted a vehicle that is just going to have no effect by the snow. So thank you again for my wonderful YouTube supporters that allowed me to buy a very nice vehicle. Thank God you don't need to be on TV in the wrestling business anymore to make money. It's still real to me. Damn it, says she was in Risky Business and other things. I really liked Risky Business. That's another good one. Tough Turf. It's a very similar to a wrestling movie. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it as I drop my fork. But they advertised Tough Turf on this Grunt movie. which I, by the way, bought at a video rental sale. But they also advertised Tough Turf as Before I Like to Hurt People, and I always wanted to see it. And finally, it's on YouTube Movies. It is a great movie. I absolutely love it because it's all about fighting, and it's also set in the 80s, and it's about street fighting. And I used to get in a lot of street fights, and there's a girl in it that loves fighting, and I like girls that like to watch fights. I love girls that love violence because I'm a very violent person. You learned a secret about me tonight, guys. The weightlifting dweeb says, why don't I challenge Jericho? Because Chris Jericho does not have an open challenge. Cody Rhodes did. I don't want to wrestle Chris Jericho, to be honest with you. I don't hate him. He's made his money. He's in his 50s now. I have no interest in wrestling Jericho. I don't want to wrestle anybody. I want to continue doing what I'm doing. Let the stars of Great North Wrestling, like Lufisto, who I'm interviewing tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern, the women's champion of Canada, Davey Boy Smith Jr., the Hannibal TV heavyweight champion, Jeremy Prophet, the Great North Wrestling Canadian champion, the Blood Hunter, becoming a big star, managed by Kevin Sullivan and Blaze in both PCW and Great North Wrestling, the Puerto Rican masked monster. So there you go. Someone says the box cover I just showed is the same as the poster. There's actually like 5 versions of the poster. There's about 5 versions of the poster. And by the way, I'm going to try and interview the guy that played Mad Dog Joe DeCurso in the coming weeks. So have a great night. I love this movie. Some of you will think I'm absolutely crazy for loving this movie, but I certainly think it's a great movie. Thanks for all your comments. Really